Okay, it's Monday morning and I thought I would run a very first time Copic color tutorial for me on video. And the way I like to start my mornings, first of all, very important step, is a great cup of coffee and some grapes for a little bit of a sugar rush, and caffeine and sugar can't go wrong. So that's how I start my mornings, and then usually I work well from there. Now to start a project, I will usually pick a color palette. In this case, I'm using Basic Gray's Mellow pattern paper line, and I'm going to try and pick up on the oranges and greens in this color line. The stamp I'm going to use today is by Crafty Secrets. It's their coffee line, and thought it was suiting today with my cup of coffee at my side anyways. And I will be using Adirondack ink. This is wonderful ink for Copic marker coloring because it doesn't bleed or discolor when you go over top of it with a marker. So just going to ink that up. Another product that I love is this paper tray white cardstock. It is really thick, and I'm able to color on it, and it just blends wonderfully. So there's my stamp. I'm going to start off by using these Copic markers. Now the way I chose these was to do a little test on a piece of scrap paper and a test strip and come as close to the pattern paper colors as I could. And so this is what I came up with. So I'll start with the oranges. I want to do the espresso bin part in the orange color. What I like to do is I like to show areas of dark and light, and so I usually start with my dark and just color the area that I would think would be the darkest, which for me would be the bottom of the bowl. And then take my light marker and color in the rest of the bowl. See how you can color over the letters and it doesn't smear the ink whatsoever? It's great. And then take a technique that I use quite often is I take my light marker and I rub it onto my dark marker to get some color from it, and then blend the little line that shows the two colors separating, and try and blend those colors together so it's a little more seamless. I think it's a little more obvious in the green, which I will do next. The dark green that I'm using, I want to have the dark color come down the side of my bin here and along the bottom. And I like to curve the corners a little bit and a little bit up the side. And then I'll color in the rest with my lighter shade of green. I like to outline my image first and then work in circles so that you don't see any of the seam lines from the marker. Gives a nice solid colored in look without any streaking. And then again, take your light marker and touch it to your dark and just work in circles right where your seam line is between the two colors, and that'll help give a little more of a gradual blending of the color so you don't see the stark line between the two colors. And these two colors are quite a bit different from each other, so sometimes it's easier to blend than others. And if I need to, which in this case I think I do, then I go over my whole image again with my lighter color just to help blend those lines. And you can see how fast the coloring process actually is. Next, I just want to color a few of the strips here in the dark brown. Nice fine points on these markers, so it gives you a chance to do a lot of detail work. Depends how much caffeine you've had though. If you have too much caffeine, you're a little shaky like I can be. And I can also color in some of these darker solid areas just to give them a little more punch. And I think this little handle needs to be in orange as well. So I'll color that. Next is to ground your image. Now, grounding the image I like to do with my gray markers. I'll use the Cool 1 and the Cool 3. And I'll start with the Cool 1. And you just kind of draw freehand, I like to do kind of a kidney shape area that your image is sitting on, so it doesn't look like it's just floating there. And then I take my gray marker, the darker one, and go underneath where my image is actually sitting, because that's the part you want the darkest. And then take your lightest one again and just kind of blend together that line that you just created and outline the whole thing again. And with the markers, if you go over an area again and again, it will get a half a shade darker and darker as you continually swipe an area. So that's what I do to get just the little bit of darker area. And the nice thing about the paper tray white cardstock is that your cardstock won't pill on you even if you're repeatedly going over an area, which is really nice. So there you have it. There's my colored image, and I'll put it together with my cardstock and post a card with it. Thanks for watching.